Hello, my name is Cameron Smith. I am a FAU student in the Masters of Public Administration program. This is the assignment for the final reflection, Public Leadership, PAD 6063, for Dr. Sanabria. The first question that I'm going to look at is how the concepts and experience covered in this course changed my perspective. Throughout the public leadership course, I had a completely different perspective on leadership. Prior to this course, I had the mindset that leadership was more of a role that one fit in rather than a trait that I think a person can exude, especially after reviewing the literature, especially the textbook by Van Wart. I shifted my perspective, and my understanding now sits with leadership being more of a a characteristic that any individual component in the public or private sector can take on and really make their own. And I think that's extremely powerful. Number two, choose and describe at least three approaches and or concepts that after the course resonate the most with my perspective. The three forms of leadership that I resonate with the most, I think, are adaptive leadership, transformational leadership, and social change leadership. The importance of adaptive leadership is that the individual who's trying to take on those leadership traits needs to be able to assess a situation and determine what sort of leadership style and resources and circumstances would best be suited in particular situations. And I think adaptability is critical for anyone, specifically people who sit in leadership positions. Furthermore, it also carries with it the importance of incorporating diverse perspectives and as a leader, being open-minded is extremely important. Secondly, there's transformational leadership, which primarily focuses on inspiring and motivating individuals. And as a leader, as literature has suggested, you need to be more than just telling people what to do. It's about taking on these traits and exhibiting ethics, because when it comes down to applying some of these things, people are going to look at you and they want to see that you're, as a leader, you're not just telling people to do these things. You are living by them, and you need to be able to live by them, not just in the working role, but also outside in your day-to-day practices. If you operate with ethics and morality, you exude that. People can see that, and it inspires them to fall in line and follow your example. Your words carry far more weight. And finally, there's a social change leadership, which has its roots primarily in looking at things from a macro level scale and making those adjustments. Uh, this role is important because it's about foresight, and your leadership role is extremely active. The literature suggests the same thing. It talks about the broader aspects of leadership, and with that, it carries a huge responsibility, and that's where we come full circle and we talk about ethics and morality again, and it's critical for leadership. Next is number three. It says describe your own approach to public leadership after completing this course. I'd say if I had to structure my own form of leadership, it'd probably be a mix of transformational and adaptive leadership styles. Um, this is primarily because I had mentioned this in the beginning of the course that biblical principles and the Bible is very important, and it deals with how I choose to live my life. And one of those guiding principles is leading by example, but also practicing the things that you preach, and incorporating both of those styles speaks to the same point. Um, there needs to be a strong emphasis on ethical consideration, as well as inclusivity in the in a certain sense, which is what the literature also suggests in Van Wert's writings. And finally, question number four. What are the main lessons you have learned from this course? Um, I think, like I had said in the beginning, the most important thing that I think I've taken away from this course is how leadership is applied and who really is a leader. And the truth is that in these leadership roles, regardless of managerial management positions or anything, I think, especially in the public sector, we all can potentially sit as leaders. And I underestimated the effect I think one individual has in some of these work settings, because when you're not in power in many cases, especially when you're dissatisfied with the outcomes, you feel powerless. But after taking in some of this research and writings from Van Wart and some of the other literature we've read throughout the semester, I understand that applying these things is on every level, and it means that we're all accountable in these leadership roles. And I hope my classmates have taken the same information, absorb it, and apply it as well. Um, Thank you for listening, and have a good day.